Carvel, ladies and gentlemen, it's Roger. Thanks, Roger paid for my hotel room, so we like it. It is a great pleasure to be here this morning. I am indeed CJ Critt. I'm the spokesmodel for the LWWR. That's the large, white, and water retentive. I am a woman of a certain age and a certain size, so there could be hot flashes any moment. I'll try really hard not to schwitz on you, Jessica. I really will. But anything could happen, because unlike the studio where we fix the mistakes, this is like live theater. And it's very early in the morning. You know, Broadway starts at 8 p.m. for a reason. So as I very much enjoyed the breakfast treats. I just hope there's not salmon spread across my teeth like a little smile. But it was great to see you all here. My goodness, what a huge crowd. Now, testes, are we on? No, okay, we are. So typically I don't even use a microphone, but there's some people in the back will try to temper the sound so that everyone can get everything. I did want to start with some fun selections. I know that we probably have a lot of Stephanie Plum fans here today, perhaps? At least several. Okay, good. So we definitely want to lead off with that. But before I do, I'd like to take you kind of behind the scenes for a little bit of the world of the audiobook land from the narrator's point of view, with a short excerpt from an article I wrote several years ago that was published in AudioFile magazine. They called it Narrator's Notebook. I like to think of it as Tales from the Crypt. She's a ghost. She's a groupie. She's grandpa. Now she's playing both partners in a steamy scene of seduction and sex. Is this the middle of some tortured personality disorder attack? Or just another day at the studio? You guessed it. It is audiobook land. Where else in our youth and looks obsessed culture could an actress of a certain age and imperfect thighs play the villainous vixen, the sullen, sulky teenager, the psychic FBI agent, or even Janet Ivanovich's spandex-clad, Jersey geriatric Grandma Mazzer? Just by flipping the page and flapping her lips. Yes, it is that cozy, wombular room with a view, the sound booth, that allows the voice of the author to come to life while forgiving a host of human foibles. Burp in the middle of a big line? Well, you do that over. Or your agent pages you in the middle of the big chase scene. Oh, do-over. You proclaim the main character alcoholic instead of altruistic. That's a definite do-over. The difficulties of professional narrating, mastering tongue twisters, and recreating the voice of a pivotal character that hasn't been heard from in 217 pages is somewhat lessened by expert support staff. That's why it really helps be working with A, a director who pays attention, and B, directors who are not insane. Fortunately, this is usually the case, though I do remember questioning my place in the recording food chain when I was saddled repeatedly with a young director/wannabe actress who kept interrupting our sessions to take calls from agents and contacts in the Australian outback, and then who told me to ignore a series of performance notes from our boss as she considered them unimportant. Well, meow. We are not Nicole Kidman, dear. And look who got dumped. Okay. I digress. I said, after all, we are word people, audiobook performers. We are so at ease with flapping our lips, it's like breathing to us. And sometimes the breath of fresh air comes when you receive a kind or encouraging or a praiseful note, an email, a comment, a letter. So many kind listeners have informed me that after a long day shelving books, at the office, teaching school, they cannot get out of the driveway. They cannot stop circling the block because they're not going inside until they get to the end of one last good chapter. I understand that. It's flattering to know that happens for some people. Authors even report that when a performance suitably transports them, they don't really recognize their own work. I think that's okay. When I listen to myself, I often think it's someone else. Someone thinner, probably. Still, being an audiobook narrator is just about the best part-time job in the world. In the 3-hour workday we call our day, well, we get to see the world. And sometimes we get to save it, too. From the regional portraits penned by Larry McMurtry, to Delia Ephron's witty landscapes of modern urban dysfunction, we get to slip into the souls of many, many characters as we attempt to channel these lives for our friends, the listeners. So, basically, to be the voice of an author, well, it's a privilege. And when you're lucky, it's a living. Thank you. Of course, one of the reasons